Hi, everyone. State Representative Tracy Ellert here, along with
State Representative Amy Wickendall.
and we're here to answer another question that we've been getting. And that question is, how do you decide when to sponsor a bill or not sponsor a bill? And Amy, I don't know if you want to start.
I would say a lot of people have our own process. I know for me, a lot, it depends on kind of the topics that I know the most about or work that I've done a lot on, either in the interim or in my kind of previous experience out in government. I know I focus on a lot of things local government wise, technology wise, very in things within the LGBT community spaces, all of those things that I have a good working familiarity with. Those are usually some of the things that I'll do, but occasionally, we do get requests from different things to sponsor. I always try to filter some of it because one thing that we don't want to do is create duplicative work because we have a lot of members, and sometimes if we all introduce the same bill, then we kind of clog up the process and getting our own bills back.
Yeah, definitely. They can take a really long time to get back from LSA sometimes, which is also why you may see a bill listed with only one sponsor because it took so long for them to get the bill back that now they don't want to take the additional time to gather sponsors and then have to send back to LSA, which then takes more time. Sometimes you might see only one sponsor name on it, the person that authored it, because it might have a better shot at getting through the legislature with only having one person's name versus a variety of legislators on there. It just kind of depends, but I agree. I tend to sponsor bills that I at least have some knowledge on because if you're putting your name on something, you have to be able to explain it. You also have to be able to defend it. You might get reached out to by press, asking about a bill that you sponsored, or it does actually make a subcommittee and committee, and then you have to be able to educate others on it. So while it might be a wonderful bill, if I don't have a large knowledge base, I just let others sponsor it, and then I can support it by voting yes on it if it comes to a committee or a floor for a vote.
And those are great things. One call out I do want to make too, just we mentioned LSA, that stands for the Legislative Services Agency. Yeah. So when we have ideas for bills, we will compile them, send them over to LSA, and then they will go ahead and put that in the kind of legalistic form and framework of the bill and then send it back to us. There are times because we'll file bills in advance of the session. And I know one bill I had worked on this session, I filed it in November, sent it to LSA in November, and I got it a week before the first funnel. And I'm like, just it's not going to go through. What do you get it that late? And interestingly, that's a problem for all members, regardless if you're the majority or the minority. I remember talking with a majority member, and he's like, "Oh no," because I was grousing about it. Is like, "Oh no, we have the same problem." So.
Sometimes it's due to the complexity of the bill. I know when I first came on and I was having some of the early ed bills drafted, the drafter was new. And so they were, trying to make themselves more comfortable with that section of code that they were responsible for. And then I was a new legislator. And so then we had to work together. So sometimes they can take a really long time, which is why we usually start to get that work done in the interim before we come back.
And I would say a lot of bills that you see that where the caucus co-sponsors, a lot of them usually tend to be caucus priorities that we all kind of set out to the caucus and usually sign off on, usually what we're going to do. Like we did the working families bill, series of water quality bills where we all wanted to be able to support that in the caucus. But yeah, sometimes there is that thing where it's just kind of they'll look and see, a lot of people on one bill, they'll take a look at it and be like, no, they're not going to sign it. Sometimes you do get a little bit better traction if it's either just one or two people, or you have, avenues across the aisle to, with your recess bill, being able to get that moved through the House.
Yeah. So just a little bit on why we may or may not sponsor a bill. Keep sending us your questions and we'll chat later.
Bye, everybody.